What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Gaming with Nimbus, and we are going to continue the series of me showing you guys my video game collection. I've already made a video on my Neo Geo AES collection and my Nintendo Switch collection. Today we are going to check out my PlayStation 1 games. Let's get into it.
Let's go!
Alright guys, to start off my PlayStation collection, I'm gonna say I don't have the biggest PlayStation 1 collection, but what I do have is quality, okay? So we're gonna start off with Lunar Silver Star Story Collection. Now I don't have it complete with the box and all the other stuff, I just have the case and the game. It's a very sought after RPG. So I'm just happy I have it like this because I don't need it all complete because I want to play the game, so it doesn't really matter to me, all right? So that's the first game. All right, guys, the second game is Tales of Destiny 2, okay? It's another RPG that's very sought after. It's a great game, and again, the PlayStation 1 had great Japanese RPGs. So if you guys are a fan of RPGs or JRPGs and you've never had a PlayStation, get a PlayStation because the PlayStation is filled with JRPGs and RPGs. My third game is Suikoden 2, okay? I know a lot of people can't pronounce it. I think it's Suikoden. I've always said it like that, Suikoden. So I'm gonna continue saying it like that, Suikoden 2. This is also another game that's very sought after. In the past year, during the pandemic and everything's been going on, PlayStation was actually one of the consoles that the prices to their games have skyrocketed, and this is definitely one of those games. The next game is Siphon Filter 2, and if you guys know anything about the Siphon Filter series, you know that all of the Siphon Filter games, well, most of them are all great games. So yes, that is the game that we're talking about now. The next game in my collection, if you guys are fans of this channel, you know that I love my fighting games. So of course, I have a bunch of fighting games on the PlayStation 1, and this one is X-Men vs. Street Fighter. Oh, if you know, you know. The next game is also another fighting game, and that's JoJo's Bizarro. It's a very weird Capcom game. It's based on the anime, or I don't... Wait a second, that is a good question. You guys could correct me down in the comments. Did the game come out first and then the anime, or did the anime come out first and then the game? I've never seen JoJo's Bizarro. I have definitely played the game, so I don't know. You guys let me know. The next game is a legendary PlayStation 1 game, and if you were around in that era when the PlayStation released and this game was coming out and you owned a PlayStation, you got this game. Final Fantasy VII. Yes, the Final Fantasy VII. Once again, if you know, you know. The next game is the sequel to Final Fantasy VII, Final Fantasy VIII. Now, many people argue which one's better, if it's Final Fantasy VII or Final Fantasy VIII. Me, I prefer Final Fantasy VII, but that does not take away from this game. This is also a great JRPG. It's a great game, okay? Just because I think it's not better than Final Fantasy VII, nah, that doesn't take away from it. I know a lot of people that say that this game is better than Final Fantasy VII, and I don't argue. If you want to believe that, hey, I can't argue that. The next game is once again a fighting game. And even though on the PlayStation, it wasn't the best version of this game, it was the game that I played the most on this console with a bunch of my friends on a Friday night or a Saturday night, and that was Marvel vs. Capcom #1. The next game is a game that I have to honestly say I have not played yet. It was given to me and I just haven't gotten a chance to play it, and that's Tecmo's Deception. It looks like it's a horror game, not 100% sure. I haven't played it yet, but I will. The next game, if you own the PlayStation at that time, you know what game this is, and this is the sequel to the first game. And I remember playing this, the first and the second game, so much because it was just so much fun. It was almost like it was basically Grand Theft Auto. You know, you did what you wanted to do. Driver 2. Now, even though I'm not a fan of sports games, I do have sports games in my PlayStation 1 collection, and today we're going to talk about NBA Live 2002. I do not have the manual for it, I have the case and obviously the game, but yeah, NBA Live 2002. The next game is a Capcom game, and that is Dino Crisis. Now, everyone knows how great Dino Crisis is. It was basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs. And I also have this copy, and I have this another copy with a demo CD for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. So yeah, I have both. You guys see, there you go. But this was a great survival horror game. And like I said, it's basically Resident Evil with dinosaurs. Think about Jurassic Park, like Resident Evil. Can't go wrong. And since we talked about the first Dino Crisis, we have to talk about the second. Basically, more of the same, but a little better. The next game in my collection, once again, if you were around in that era of the PlayStation, you remember a certain purple dragon, a very small purple dragon, but had a, he packed a punch, and that was Spyro. Now, this PlayStation game, I remember playing it when the PlayStation came out, and a lot of people don't talk about this game. It's not the best game, but you know what? It was fun for its time when it came out, and that is Blasto. The next game is a game that my brother and I played tons of when the PlayStation was out, and that is Die Hard Trilogy. Unfortunately, I only have the case. I only have the disc. I don't have the case, but hey, once again, like I said, I play my game, so if I can only get the disc, I'm okay with that. Another game is one of the games that I haven't played yet, and guys, you're gonna hear me say that a lot. As you guys can see, I own a lot of games, and my backlog of games that I have to play is so huge. It's so huge, but little by little, I'll eventually get there. But the next game is Vandal Hearts 2. The next game is once again another RPG, okay, and that is the Grand Stream Saga. Now, this game was a little bit different at the time because it mixed anime cut screens with with gameplay. So you had anime cutscenes, just for the story, and then for you played, you had the actual game. So it's a great RPG. Again, if you liked RPGs, you still like JRPGs and RPGs, and you never played on the PlayStation, you never had a PlayStation, that's definitely the console for you. Another game that I haven't gotten a chance to play yet, but I know a ton of people love, is Threads of Fate by Squaresoft. Is it Squaresoft now? Yeah, by that time it was Squaresoft. The next game needs no introduction. If you had a PlayStation, there is a good chance you definitely played this game 100 times over. And that is the first Resident Evil. This is the director's cut. Once again, the next game was the sequel to the last game. And if you own the PlayStation, I'm pretty sure you also played this game. Resident Evil 2. The next game also needs no introduction because it's part 3 of 1 and 2. And that is Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. And this is funny because this one has a demo disc for Dino Crisis. And the other Dino Crisis I had a demo disc for Resident Evil 3 Nemesis. The next game I only have the disc for, and that is Road Rash. The next game also needs no introduction because it's one of those games that the franchise somewhat started on this console and has only gotten better down the line, and that is Metal Gear Solid. Now, this is a classic PS1 game, and if you haven't played it yet, what are you waiting for? As you guys know, I love Street Fighter. It's a fighting game. It's my favorite fighting game of all time, so I have to have the Street Fighter collection on the PS1, obviously. The next game is loved by many, and it had to start in the PlayStation. This is not the original, the first one, but this is the second one, Persona 2. Once again, me being a fighting fan, you guys know I had to have this game on the PlayStation. I have a lot of memories playing this on the arcade and a pizzeria next to my house, and that is Rival Schools. The next game is very nostalgic for me because when a lot of people were playing Mario Kart on the N64, don't get me wrong, I played it too, and it's a great kart racing game. But for me and my friends, we didn't play Mario Kart 64 around that time. We played Speed Punks. Now, you might say, what the hell is Speed Punks? But this is a great, and a very fun kart racing game. If you haven't played it, I totally recommend it. The next game is Spawn on the PlayStation 1. The next game in my collection is Tenchi Stealth Assassin. And I also have Part 2. The next game is a game that I still haven't played yet, but I know a lot of people that love this game, and that is Rising Zan, the Samurai Gunman. The next game is also a classic on the PS2, and that is Castlevania Chronicles. I don't have Symphony of the Night. I am looking for a copy, but you know, when you have Symphony of the Night, that is more of Castlevania, if you will, not Castlevania, Metroidvania, that's what I meant to say. This is more of your typical 2D classic Castlevania, and it's just as good. So we have another RPG from the PlayStation 1 era, and that's Breath of Fire 3 and Breath of Fire 4. The next game is NBA Shootout 2001. The next game in my collection for the PS1 is Crash Bandicoot Warped. The next game is the Atari Anniversary Edition Redux. Basically, it's a collection of Atari games. The next game is a classic old arcade game that was ported on the PlayStation 1, and that is Frogger. And if you can see here, I paid $169 for it. Pretty cheap, look. Can't focus, but I paid $169 for it. Another game I paid $1.69 for was Monopoly for the PlayStation 1. The next game in my collection is Cool Borders 2. Fun game. The next games in my collection is also fighting games, and that is Bushido Blade 1 and 2. Now this fighting game is more of a realistic fighting game that if you got cut in your arm, you were not able to use your arm, and you had to fight like that. You know, it's a more realistic fighting game, if you will. Okay, so yeah, Bushido Blade 1 and 2. The next fighting game I have on the PS1, it's an import from Japan, and that is Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. I don't have the manual. At least I think I do have a manual, I just don't have it here. Why is that? Anyways, it's a Dragon Ball Z fighting game, and it wasn't that great. No, it wasn't. It wasn't that great. So yeah, Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. A very weird game that I have, Real Fishing on the PlayStation 1. The next PS1 game I have is Street Fighter Alpha 2. Great fighting game. To continue down the line of Street Fighter Alpha, we have Street Fighter Alpha 3. Another game in my PS1 collection that I haven't played yet is Front Mission 3. It seems to be like a tactical game. I'm not 100% sure. At least that's what it seems like to me. I have not played it yet, but we have it in the collection. Another fighting game in my PS1 collection is Darkstalkers 3. It's a classic. Now the next game that I have that I'm going to show you, it's a game that is not, You can't really find that. It's uncommon, okay? I don't have the manual. I don't have the original disc, the hardcover for it. I just have the disc, and that's Elemental Gearbolt. This was a light gun game for the PS1 that they have like this special edition that comes with the game, a golden gun, and I think a memory card, and I think it's like the most expensive thing you could ever get for the PS1. I think that goes for a couple of thousands of dollars if I'm not mistaken. But you know, I don't have that, but at least I have the game. And I do have a light gun that I can use it with. Another PS1 game that I have in my collection that I only have the disc for is Digimon Rumble Arena. It's Digimon. Yeah, Digimon. The next PS1 game in my collection is another fighting game, and I think it's a classic. You know, if you're a fighting game fan and you have a PS1 game, this is a classic for me. King of Fighters 95. I think all the King of Fighter games are classics. It's a great fighting game. The next fighting game that I have for the PS1 is a game that is very nostalgic for me because I think it was the first fighting game I ever played on the system. And that is Battle Arena Toshinden. Not the best as of right now, but I still go back to it from time to time because for me it's great. I'm pretty sure for others not so much. Another game that I only have the disc for, and I wish I had it complete, I'm still looking for it complete, and that is Marvel Superheroes. Yes, I need this game complete. I know, guys, I know. Another RPG that had the same style of Grand Stream Saga with that cut scene that is an animation, and then the game, and that is Xenogears X. Like I said, if you're an RPG fan or a JRPG fan, you need a PlayStation. Now, this PlayStation game is also very nostalgic for me because when I got my PlayStation, this was the first game that I got. This is the first game I played for hours on end, okay? And that is Tekken 3. To me, the best Tekken game of all time. I love this game. To me, this is the best Tekken game ever. I know Tekken 7 looks amazing and whatnot. Awesome. Tekken 3 is where it's at for me. I'm sorry. It's just where it's at. The next game in my PS1 collection has a connection to Soul Calibur, and that is Soul Blade. Basically the beginnings of Soul Calibur. The next fighting game in my PS1 collection is Inuyasha The Feudal Fairy Tale, I think it's called, right? Yeah, The Feudal Fairy Tale. It's not the best fighting game. It's a fun fighting game just to play with your friends. It's not the best one. It's not the best fighting game. But you know what? It's cool for what it is. And if you're an Inuyasha fan, then you're gonna like it. Now another fighting game, yes, another fighting game. I told you guys, I am a huge fighting game fan. And I have tons of fighting games for a whole bunch of other systems, but we're specifically talking about the PS1, okay? And since, even though it's not arcade perfect on the PS1, I still love to play this game because you'll understand why. It's X-Men, Children of the Atom. How could I say no? Just play it. Another fighting game on the PS1 that I used to play non-stop with my friends on the PS1 was Marvel Superheroes versus Street Fighter. Now this is a game we played non-stop. Another fighting game, yes, another fighting game. It's a very cutesy fighting game that Capcom came out with, and that is Pocket Fighters. Basically Capcom characters like in chibi form, and you're fighting it out, collecting gems and whatnot to make your moves powerful. It's very weird, but it's fun. Once you get the hang of it, it's really fun. The next game I have, I don't have a manual for, and that is Puzzle Fighter 2 Turbo. Basically, it's like it's a puzzle game with Street Fighter characters. basically. Everyone knows puzzle fighters, I'm pretty sure. You guys know what puzzle fighters is? Another PS1 game I have is a very kind of weird PS1 game. Not too much to it. It was given to me, and that is card games. Guess you just play card games on your PS1. Yeah. Card games. Another great RPG or JRPG, however you want to call them, that started on the PlayStation. I think at least it did start on the PlayStation. You guys could correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. Is Star Ocean. Now that's a great RPG. Another PS1 game that I have, I think is super common. I'm pretty sure everyone has played some form of this game, and that is Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. I'm pretty sure you guys have played this game in some form, somewhere, somehow. It's Tony Hawk. Like, come on, Tony Hawk. The next PS1 game that I'm going to show you, it's a classic for the PlayStation. For the PlayStation in general, I'm not gonna even say PlayStation 1, it's just a classic for the PlayStation as a whole. And I'm kind of upset that I don't have the sequels to these games, but I am looking for them, so don't worry, I will have them. And that is the original Tomb Raider. Now that's a classic. That is a classic. Another fighting game that I have in my PS1 collection that I just only have the discs for, and that is Dead or Alive. The first Dead or Alive. The next PS1 game that I have in my collection is a great puzzle game. I really think everyone knows this game, and even if you've never played this version, you basically have played some form of this game, and that is Bust a Move 99. Now, I do have a couple of imports for the PS1. I've already showed you one in Dragon Ball Z Ultimate Battle 22. I'm going to show you some of the other import games that I have for the PS1. Yes, you are able to play PS1, Japanese PS1 games on your American PS1 by doing the little trick of, you know, putting the spring, exchanging the discs, and having that little, I guess, action replay, if they were called action replay at that time, behind your PS1. It was a, you know, you had to go through a lot to get it to work, but it worked, and that's what we did. And I did that. You know, me and my friends did that, okay? So the first Japanese game that I'm gonna show you is Tekken 2, the Japanese version. The next Japanese game, I already showed you the American version of it, and that is Soul Blade. But this one's the Japanese version. The next game I'm going to show you holds a place very close to my heart. I'm even wearing a shirt for it. And the reason why is that me and my friends, we played this. It was one of those games that we played non-stop, okay? Like non-stop. I'm telling you, non-stop. And that is Dragon Ball GT Final Bout. Now, we played this game so much that you're able to take a character like Kid Goku or, you know, whatever, Super Saiyan Trunks, whoever it was, and you were able to build your character. And that's how we played. We will build our own character up, their power levels, and then we would fight against each other. We were at a point where if you got hit once, you were dead. That's how strong some of our characters were. You got hit once, you were dead. So it was really a game of who gets hit first and how good you were at avoiding your opponent. Because if you got touched, it was over. That's how much we played this game. The next Japanese PS1 game I have is Intelligent Cube. This is a very fun puzzle game. It's basically a puzzle game. It is a puzzle, not basically. So, yeah, Intelligent Cube. The next Japanese game I have, it's a fighting game, of course, and that's Killing Zone. Now, the next Japanese PS1 game that I have, I hold it so near dear to my heart also, and I'm also wearing the shirt for it again, so you already know what it is, and that is Dragon Ball Z Legends, okay? My friends and I had tons of hours into this game. This is a great fighting game. I know some people don't really like it. That's okay. We loved it. We loved it, and we played it for hours, okay? Dragon Ball Z Legends. Such a great game. The next Japanese PS1 games I have is, once again, a fighting game, because you know I love my fighting games. That is King of Fighters 96, King of Fighters 97, and King of Fighters 98. You know I have to have it. As much as I love fighting games, you know I gotta have the King of Fighters series. Like I said before with King of Fighters 95, King of Fighters, it's just classic. Alright guys, I'm gonna end the video here. So that's my PS1 collection. Like I said before, I don't have a huge library of PS1 games, but what I do have is quality. You know, the PS1 has a ton of games. I'm pretty sure I'm not gonna own all of them. So what I do is that I look for the ones that I really want. And like I said, what I have is quality. Great RPGs, JRPGs, great fighting games. You know I gotta have my fighting games, so I'm gonna have the best. And a little other games here and there that are gems. I think that are legit gems for the PS1, okay? So, like I said, I'm gonna end the video here. If you like this video, give me the thumbs up, comment down below. And as always, because I'm watching you guys, I know there are a couple of you guys that are watching the video and you guys are not yet subscribed. So take the opportunity right now and hit that subscribe button. Hit it. Just boop, 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 boop. Touch it. Boop, 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 boop. Hit that subscribe button. Okay? I'll catch you guys on the next episode of Gaming with Nimbus. Deuces.